let's talk about these air conditioners real quick. So these are the Coleman mock air conditioning systems. A lot of people said, why didn't you go for a quiet, cool air conditioning system or a whisper quiet system? These actually are a whisper quiet system, believe it or not. They're incredibly quiet. And I don't know if you can tell in the video, but they are less than half as loud as the typical exposed units. These are really cool, and they're fully ducted. So there's a lot of different types of units out here, and I believe these are prototype units. I have 3 of them. They're all 13,500 BTU units, and they're all controlled here through this RV Comfort, looks like ZC controller. I can control each zone or each air conditioner independently. I can turn the temperature up or down based on each one of them, and I can go through different modes based on each one of them. So that is really cool. This also controls my thermostat as well. And then I have my really cool Max Air fan up there with rain sensor. Starts to rain, it automatically detects it and it closes. And right now I have all 3 air conditioners running off of the Onan 5500 LP generator. So that is really cool, and it is nice inside. It is 92 degrees outside right now, and it feels very comfortable in here right now. So I can definitely feel the air blowing. I love the 3 AC units, how it just feeds so much air into the unit. So that is really cool. Anyways, on to the next project. Right here is my basement storage. I have this really cool spray port on the side, and then I have a 110 outlet right here. So I was exploring this right here and discovered something kind of interesting. If you look over the top of it, which you really can't do until I remove this, which I'm about to do, you will see how much unused space there is back here. And I can reclaim probably, I'm gonna say at least a solid 5 square feet if I just rearrange how these walls are. I move the sprayer port right here. This one's gonna be pretty interesting for you guys to watch. And then I put something else here to take up where this hole used to be. So this is going to be really interesting, and it's definitely one I think is going to shock some folks whenever you see, again, how much room there is. So in an attempt to clean this up and make this look nice, it actually took away storage space, and I would rather have the storage space and then figure out how to reshape all this than not have this unutilized space that's back there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this down real quick. It is super easy. There's 1, 2, 3 screws there, and then there's 1, 2, 3 screws there. So I'm just going to remove the screws there, remove the screws here, and these panels should come back completely. You can see they're all cut across the top to allow all the wires and everything to go through, so this should be fun. There we go, and this should just come right down. Check it out. So I'm going to pull this kind of carpeted panel out. Set that right there. Check this out. So, you know, a lot of people criticize wiring and, you know, how messy it looks, but I honestly don't really care. As long as it's not rubbing up against a nail or anything like that, this looks fine to me. I've ran wires, I've routed wires, and again, as long as it doesn't pose like an electrical risk or some type of a fire risk, it's not that huge of a deal to me. I do like that they put shutoff valves in here though. That is really nice. Look at this. One thing I didn't point out, they put shutoff valves up here too. So that's a big feature. I asked about that, but you know, I completely forgot about it whenever we were doing the walkthrough. So there are shutoff valves all over this unit. They put them all on the connections there as well. That is very cool. Yeah, so we're gonna try to take some of this space back. And I think by kind of moving this up a hair, I should be able to get access to it. There are my holding tanks. So that is kind of cool. Yeah, this is the guts that a lot of people don't see. And this exists in every RV. So you don't want to fool yourself into thinking you don't have a big bundle of wire somewhere hidden in your RV. You just don't see it. That's kind of what it comes down to. This is the outside kitchen area. And again, this is the spray port that I'll be relocating. And I'm going to be moving it over to here. So the first thing I'm going to need to ensure is that I don't have any water that's going to come out of here. And the easiest way to do that is just to hook up the little hose to the outside and make sure there's no pressure in there. So here's my little sprayer attachment. I'm just going to plug it in right there, and then check that out. A little bit of water in that line. Want to make sure I don't have any water that's just going to come pouring out whenever I disconnect that off the back. And I'll put some paper towels behind it just so anything that drips out doesn't just drip out onto the floor. Okay, so I'll have to cut back the sealant right here with a knife, but that's going to be fine because I'll be covering all of this. I know a lot of people are going to say, why am I even doing any of this? Isn't it fine the way it is? Just go out and enjoy it. But the fact is, this is good content. This is stuff I want to do anyways, but this is stuff that a lot of other people may wonder if they can do. You know, when I put clearance lights on my F-250, everyone kind of wondered if I was dumb for doing it, drilling through the roof. Never had any leak problems, nothing like that. And sometimes watching someone else do it on YouTube gives you the confidence you need to tackle a project like this. So, right here is what will be replacing it. I am putting a 12-volt connection on the outside. And the way I've wired it in is so the end of it is this male 12-volt adapter, which will plug into this 15-amp power supply. So I can disconnect it if I want. And the other end of that's going to plug into my 110 outlet right here. So if I need to use, let's say, my portable air compressor, I can plug it in on this side so I can fill up the tires or do whatever I need to do if I don't have my truck nearby. These two components here, I got this 12-volt marine adapter for, I think it was $7. And then this little cap right here was like $4. And it's an exterior rated cap. So first things first, I'm going to try to do this one-handed. And I did crimp and solder those connections. So this will go so the cap is facing down. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, because I'm a one-man show out here today, I went ahead and put one screw in place. I already got all the sealant material off and ready to put the second one if I can do it. You always want to check to make sure the screws are actually going into the sidewall and not just straight through to an area where there's nothing holding. Some people might say, why didn't you use white screws? Well, I'm actually using black stainless steel screws because I got a bunch of them and everything else out here is black, so I think the trim will probably look okay if it has a couple black screws right here. I might change them out if I think it looks horrible later. There we go. Check that out. I think that looks really good. And now I got a 12-volt outlet on this side. I just have to get the power supply secured in place. I'm gonna route everything up here across the top here and it will plug in right there. Very, very cool. I'm super excited about this. So next, everything looks good. Next, I am going to drill a big hole right here, and this is going to be relocated to right here. Okay, so I have my hole saw. It's a 2.5-inch hole saw. It's the same size that this was cut out to, and this should go right into it whenever I'm done. It's already in place right here, and I'm going to drill right about here because I don't want to get anywhere near that aluminum stud that's right here. So right about here sounds about right. I'm going to cut, but then I'm going to stop filming so I can do this the right way. Okay, so I have it started. I'm gonna go ahead and drill all the way through. Okay, just like cutting wood, you oftentimes need to go to the back end and drill, so that's what I'm doing here. There we go. So there's your sidewall. 2 inches thick. And for reference, this is a 2.5 inch bit. So if I put that right there, you'll see 1/2 inch remaining. So 2 inch thick sidewall. There's your Asdel. There's your Luan on the inside. And there's your, I think it's 4-pound foam. It's definitely very dense feeling foam. But that is your sidewall. Pretty cool. Check out that super clean hole right there. That looks absolutely fantastic. So next, I'm gonna throw the water port back into it. I'm gonna clean up the sealant off the back, throw it in there, go ahead and get it fastened on, and then I'll put a sealant around the outside of it so everything is in good shape. Very cool. So check that out. Got my 12-volt outlet, my 110 still, and my sprayer port. Very cool. Coming around the back, there we go. Now all I need to do is get this connected back, which should be relatively simple. Okay, just got to get it tightened and then route my wires for this. Okay, so I got everything wired in place now. That is connected and my 12-volt outlet is connected. I have it ran back here, runs along the top here and plugs in right there. I have the actual power supply right here and I screwed a couple zip ties up. I'll trim these off here in a second, make it look a little cleaner. That doesn't budge, that's not going anywhere. And I think we should be in good shape. Very cool little project. I mean, what do you guys think? Would you guys have a need for a 12-volt style plug on the side of your RV? I actually always have a need for these things, whether or not it's a USB adapter. I know you have this plug next to it, but sometimes you need 12 volts because of some type of piece of equipment that you have requires 12 volts. So it's good to have those options. And there were no 12-volt options on this side of the RV at all. So I would have had to take my power supply, which is now in there, essentially plug it in right here, and it would be on the outside of the unit, which is something I don't want in case it rains or whatnot. With this, again, if I have my Viair air compressor to fill up the tires, I just plug it in right here, fill up the tires, good to go, and I'm done. So very cool. It's a 15 amp power supply, so that should be more than enough to power the Viair air compressor. Overall parts, everything, let's just say that was say that was 10, 15 bucks. The power supply, I believe I paid 25, maybe $30 for. So let's say under $50 all in. And I was able to complete this project. My main goal was to move this over here so I could have this space allocated in the back, because with that hose sticking out right there, I really wouldn't be able to use the space without constantly hitting that hose. So next I need to lift this out, move it further in, and then route this panel this way so I can utilize this space right here. Okay, so this isn't gonna have to be such an intricate cut. So what I'm essentially done is I pulled the carpet back here. I'm gonna cut this piece of plywood over about 6 to 8 inches and then back up, and it will let me clear those PEX lines right there. And I might try to frame some of this out a little bit just so I can use as much of this as possible. I'm gonna grab another piece of plywood and try to fill in the gap when I'm done. But the goal here is that I at least get this side closed up, and if I have an opening left right here, I can always fill that in later with a piece of plywood. But I want to try to repurpose this space as best I can today. So that's kind of the goal. I have a 3M spray adhesive here to put this back on and in place whenever I'm done as well. But this should work out really good. And again, I'm gonna get a lot of space back when I'm done with this. Got my Furman generator running right now. This is the WH3300 dual fuel gas or propane. Got it connected to propane right now so I can make my cuts with my circular saw. Okay, so I didn't record most of this because I had to go back and forth cut lumber, come back and try to frame this out the way I wanted. But I hope I can find a picture of what this looked like before I started, because this wall cut off right here, right at the entrance. It was pretty much the width of this and then some, just a little bit. But now check it out. So I still got to finish off this wall over here, which I'm going to do. I trim the top up, reattach the carpet, cut this into 2 pieces, and I just have this one gap right here. It's about 6 inches, and then I'll be done. Just need to cover that one spot. But yeah, I framed it all out right here, and it's not moving at all. So check that out. I added roughly from here back, all of that. To give you an idea, let me throw my power drill back there. The wall was right about here. I added a sizable amount of room underneath here. That's actually enough room for me to throw a folding mountain bike in and just kind of set it up against the side here. I'm not completely done, and nothing's interfering with the water connection right there. It's actually right on this side of the 110. As you can see right here, I have it braced behind there as well. And then that's just the 12 volt. As you can see, this doesn't butt completely up against here, so it's not putting any pressure on that wire at all. I'm gonna put another panel right here to cover all that up. But yeah, it turned out really good, and I'm really satisfied. What do you guys think of this? I mean, have you looked under your RV to see how much hidden potential there is in terms of room, space? I mean, do you have a lot more space than you might think? That was definitely the case with me here. You know, a lot more space than we thought. And I was able to utilize a large amount of it. I mean, this is a whole nother tote. If I want to throw a tote back here, I have access to getting in here, no problem. Before, this curved from here over, and if I wanted to put a slide tray that fit perfectly in here, I couldn't do it because it would rub this wall. So, you know, it might be worth looking behind some of your panels in your RV and seeing how you can reclaim some currently unused space. Anyways, I am far from done with this project. Just need to do a little bit more to cover up everything. I might take a look back there, see what other room I can utilize. Really happy with the spray port. Really happy with my 12 volt adapter. It all turned out really good. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment below. Anyways, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.